So welcome yogis, just beginning lying or seated. And just enjoy these few moments as we start the class to just settle and relax. Quite often we have a little bit of a busy morning, especially just running up to something, do our last minute bits. So time to just let all that go. Relax. This is your space, your time. And it's a healing space and time as well. Physically, but also a space which allows emotions to come up and us to contemplate thoughts and ideas that maybe other times of the day we just don't have the space or even this sort of the energy to look at. So it can give us this sort of arena to tune in and observe ourselves. And sometimes we don't always want to look at ourselves, and the yoga and the poses will bring stuff up for us. Whether we want to look at it or push it down, that's on us. But it gives us this space. So just breathing, tune into the breath. Make it a conscious feeling to feel every inhale and exhale. And we start to notice all the parts of our body that move, and we're so unconscious to this most of the time. The feeling in the back of our body, the feeling as our ribs expand. And we just tune into how wonderful and what marvellous creations we are. Have a moment to root your energies down as well. Become grounded into the earth that we walk on every day. And if we want to open up through our chakra channel and tune into the heavens and the universe around us, then we can as well. Being on our mat gives us that opportunity to really connect with the bigger picture, everything that is around us, where we come from, our source. So have an awareness on how you're feeling emotionally today as well. And also notice your emotions as you flow through the poses in the class, because they may shift and change, and it's just curious to be aware and consciously aware of them too. What's your intention for your practice? Do you have one? Can you create one? Or is it just to be completely mindful and open to whatever you experience? So if you're lying down, just have a few moments to draw the knees in. And there's no rush with this. Enjoy a little rock on your back. If you're already seated, then just enjoy maybe a little movement through the body and the spine. When we're in this kind of conscious awareness, we feel so much more. Giving our body some appreciation today. And then just when you're ready, coming up to seated. We will take Zazen. What I'd like to do is start with a little bit of a breathing practice, one that I tend to do a little bit more and more now. So it's the breathing practice where we count the in-breath for 4, and we hold the breath in for 7, and then we exhale for 8. So it's 4, 7 and 8. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8. And we'll just do this a few times, and then we'll just let the breath go, and we'll just sit quietly and enjoy Zazen, which is just seated meditation. So bring the hands into Dhyana Mudra, get comfortable, and we'll take about 5 minutes just sitting in this practice, not entirely with the breath. We'll drop the breath after a while, but it will get you into a real deep state of peace. So just have a few normal breaths. And then we'll begin. So inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, inhale for 4, hold 7, exhale for 8. And just carrying on. And if you want to just relax that breath and breathe normally, let's just sit quietly with our thoughts, being the witness of our thoughts. Keep relaxing. Notice if you are thinking your thoughts or whether your thoughts are thinking you. So just be aware of the next couple of breaths. And as we draw this practice to a close, notice how that felt, where we started with just a little bit of a breathing to calm the body. Notice if you enjoyed that counting pace or whether it was a bit awkward for you or whether it got easier after a few goes. And then just releasing that breath and sitting quietly. Was the mind busy? Were you thinking your thoughts, or were your thoughts thinking you? I quite like that little expression, just to sort of remind us which way round it is with ourselves. So we're going to come into turtle. So a compression, but a nice stretch through our back. If you want to make this a little bit easier, you can put something behind the knees, or maybe something sort of on the belly, so that you don't come so far forward over your knees. Just thinking about where you want to be, and you can use a block for your head if you wish. Have one handy in case you just want to try it. So essentially child's pose. And dropping the hands to the feet. Take a couple of breaths here. Try and let the shoulders and the arms just sort of roll forward and hang forward. As you begin to relax, you might find that you put a little bit of tension into your belly, the front abdomen, and just notice if there is the ability to let go here. Keep relaxing the upper arms, around the shoulders. And if at any time you need to come out of this pose, please do. Really notice how you may push the belly out. And as you actually relax it, how it affects the breath. Tuning into around the hips, knees and tops of the feet and ankles. Can you relax the calf muscles? And if there's any pain developing, please loosen out, come out of the pose. Notice if the abdomen is tight. How do you feel here emotionally? Does it feel safe and protective? A very lovely pose for grounding. Or does it feel confined? What's coming up emotionally? So let's just take a deep breath. And then bring the hands either side of the head perhaps, and just lift up ever so slowly. So sort of just under the 5 minutes with that one. Notice how it felt. Sometimes I love that pose, other times it can just not feel as easy to be in. So just notice yourself. Let's just lie back. And as we stretch our legs out, just feeling how it feels to open up from that compression. Rolling back. Checking in with your spine. And I know sometimes, and some of you have got lower spine issues, so just being really kind of gentle with all the poses today. What tingling do you feel through your legs, shins, or the outer lower legs? That's a lovely pose for your stomach channel that runs kind of in line with your shin bone as it comes up the leg. So kneeling like that will encourage a balance in the stomach channel. So just enjoying a few deep breaths here. Following the breath in your belly. That lovely rise and fall. And just being grateful for every breath that comes. Let's hug our knees in. And if it feels nice, you can bring the head up. We'll need a block for our next one. We're going to come into supported bridge. If you haven't got a block, you can use a stack of cushions or a bolster. That's always a little bit softer. And we'll have the block on the tallest height. If that doesn't feel right, you can always change it down to the second height down. So just thinking about how you're feeling today. Come into a lying position, bring the feet close to the buttocks. I like to come on sort of tippy toes, and then as we're going to lift the body up, placing that block on the sacrum, not the lower lumbar spine, so that kind of the flat part that we get sort of in line with the top of the buttocks. You'll know that it isn't encroaching on the vertebrae. It will feel comfortable-ish. So have a play around with where you want this block. It feels a bit strange to start with, but you get used to it, just as long as it's not coming into the lumbar vertebrae. Really just sort of around that buttock area. So finding this pose, starting to relax. Try and allow the muscles on the inner thighs around the groin to relax. Your knees will probably just sort of fall out to the side a little. Try and soften into the shoulders where we kind of connect like a wedge to the mat. You might find that your shoulders start hunching up to the ears and there's a tension there. That's an area to keep relaxing. Keep relaxing those inner thighs. And enjoying this really lovely stretch over the belly. You might find you can relax the neck by tucking the chin in slightly, if that happens naturally. And then when you feel like you've relaxed everything that you can, just focus on your breath. Relaxing buttocks. If this is too much, you can always lower the block. A really lovely pose for your solar plexus above your navel. So notice how you feel here. It may not be the most comfortable position, but it's a pose that you can get into and breathe into. What does it bring up for you? Keep relaxing the shoulders and around the upper back and neck. Can you allow this block to support your body? And just let the heaviness of the body rest here. Following your breath, witnessing your thoughts. Just catching yourself when you notice that your thoughts are thinking you rather than you are thinking your thoughts. Just checking through your body, just scan through for tension. And gently, when you're ready, let's take a nice deep breath. And slowly coming out of this pose, I like to come onto my toes, just gently lift enough away to put the block to the side and just lowering down gently. Roll out the spine. Relax to neutral pose. And this is one of those poses where I find the after effect has such a nourishing feel through the body, more so than actually being in the posture. Tune into especially the lower spine, this kind of sacral and solar plexus area of the body. Relax your legs, soften your shoulders. Where do you feel the chi moving in the body? Where do you feel coolness, mild tingling perhaps? Encouraging a lovely flow. So this area that area worked, solar plexus, sacral, that linking with water and the fire element, flow and action in our belly. Encouraging life just to, happen easily without resistance. So just as we take a few more breaths here, just noticing that lovely after effect as it fades. And then we'll hug our knees in, being gentle, one at a time. Little rock. Massage the body. We're going to come up to seated. Next pose is going to be shoelace. So if you come into a kneeling position to sort of move into this pose, I like to have a little cushion handy because it's not one that I can sit flat on the mat with. So begin with your right leg in front of your left, crossing the legs like a shoelace. And then again, if you want a block or a little cushion handy for you. This isn't naturally one of the poses that my hips want to go into, but I really like to keep practicing it. Nice stretch. Often, you know, yoga poses take the legs out wide, so we're sort of stretching the hips in a different way. When we take the legs across us, it just gives us that opportunity to feel a sensation in the other way of the hip joint. And you can just gently bend into this one if you wish, or sitting upright if that helps. It's fine. Listen to your body and the stretch that you're getting in this pose. Try and relax the inner thighs. And just draw that breath to the belly. Notice if there's tension in your calf muscles or ankles as well. Shoulders and upper arms. Allowing everything to just start to soften. Awareness of your breath. And just feeling perhaps that lovely deep stretch through the right hip and right buttock area. So as this is focused on our hips and joy and fluidity, what joy can you bring into your life today? What lots of little joys can we feel? Might make you joyful to see a nice tidy room. Or a beautiful blue sky. Perhaps all the nature that visits you in your garden. Lots of little small joys throughout your day. The beauty is to acknowledge them. Keep relaxing those inner thighs and just softening even more into this pose. Wonderful for kidney, liver, and the spleen. Let's take one more breath, and we're going to come into neutral between this one and the other side, just to release the feeling and come into the other side with a fresh feeling. So unravel yourself, roll down to the mat. And where do you feel it? Perhaps in this pose it's a lot lower than where we felt it with bridge, and it's sort of a lot more around the root area of our body, hips and buttocks, outer thighs, inner thighs. So this also a very lovely pose for our gallbladder too. Just take this opportunity to be very within your body. Observe the way you're thinking about your breath and your body and your sensations. Just being very present in this moment with what you hear, feel, see, taste and smell. And gently, let's hug in before we come up for the other side. So take your time, gently moving as we come into this, and even as we move into these poses, being aware of what we're feeling just as we're adjusting our body. And then bringing left leg to the front. Grabbing whatever supports you need. You might find it feels quite different from one side to the other. There's a bit more movement or less flexibility. So just noticing whatever shape you take is whatever your body's going to do today. And just gently relaxing. Relax those inner thighs. And again, with every pose that we do, if there's a real pain developing somewhere, either try and loosen out of the pose in some way or just come out completely. Choose something that you know that you like. It's okay to feel a nice challenging sensation, but not pain. So nice gentle breaths. Take this opportunity to just crawl into your awareness. Just try and simply be in this moment and in this pose. Does it feel very similar to the other side, or are there real differences in what you're feeling? Enjoying the breath deep into the belly and that lovely movement up into the chest. And just keep gently relaxing anything that you find tense. And just exploring whatever feedback your body is giving you. Let's take a nice deep breath. And gently being very aware of how it feels to softly move out of this pose. Enjoy the release. And we'll gently come down. Noticing what you're feeling through your body, where the chi moves. The health of our organs is very impacted by the meridian strings that run through our body. And so these poses encourage a flow through these meridian lines and therefore encourage healthier energy within the organs. So there's a really lovely healing connection. Again, that shoelace pose is liver, kidneys and gallbladder. Try and relax your shoulders and face and neck. And then when you're ready, let's draw the right and left knee in, a gentle rock. We're going to come up for seal. But today, I think a very nice gentle seal. Listen to your lower back, because this can be an area you have to adapt this pose. I'm going to use a little cushion and come into a very nice soft seal today. And I'm going to take my elbows a little bit wider so I'm really quite low. And there's no reason why throughout this pose you can't bring the elbows a little bit closer and lift ever so gently into this pose, but just start where you know that you can be comfortable. And if you want a block for your head, then that's always nice. It just takes one more thing out of the equation to have to support. Try and let your legs relax. If your heels roll inwards, that's fine. And gently softening into belly and lower back. I think sometimes there are days when we want to just be a little bit more nurturing on our body. And there'll be other days where we really want to feel the stretch and feel strong. So keep looking through your body for tension through the legs, buttocks, lower back and tummy. Can you relax a bit more through the head and the neck? And then as you draw the awareness of the breath in the body deep into the belly, tummy expands, lower back opens and lifts, and the upper back. Enjoying your breath. Is this pose becoming softer and easier now? So this pose is very much linked with that lower curve in our lower back. So just feeling mindful of how the whole spine feels and where it especially is targeting. The last pose we'll do is bench, which focuses more on the upper spine. So we're just going to really take stock and sort of commit this feeling to memory, with a back bend to the lower part of the spine. And then we can compare easily with a back bend to the upper part of the spine in the next pose. And just enjoying breathing steadily, drawing the breath to belly. And with one more breath, we'll just gently come out. Even as you come out, just noticing any sensations that you're feeling in your back, lifting up. Might be nice just to sort of curl back for a moment just before we come into a neutral pose. Feeling that nice release. I know a lot of us say that we have a bad back, but actually we only may have a few inches of our back that doesn't like to play ball with us sometimes. The rest of the back is perfectly normal and healthy and happy. And it's just that, and often I find it's lumbar. If it's going to be anything in me, it's always the lumbar. So let's change our thoughts that we have a very healthy back actually. It's just one part that likes to make itself aware to us. And sometimes it might make itself aware to slow us down a bit, to stop us doing things in a rushed or haphazard manner, just for us to be mindful of our body. So just breathing deeply, especially into this lower part. Take the breath low and feel it kind of massage the back, build up its energy in our solar plexus. Let's start to fill our battery. So all of these poses today, the after effect has always been quite centered around a certain area. It's quite interesting how the body feels different. Every time we lie down in this same position, there's going to be a different feeling somewhere. A different sensation for us to be curious about. So let's draw the knees in again. Have that little opportunity to rock and massage. If you go in little circles, just do a few in one direction, a few in the other. It just feels balancing. And then coming up to seated, grabbing that little pillow again for bench. Take it away from your body so that it's the upper part of the back that gets the curve, and just gently lowering down. Support the head and neck if you need to. It depends how big your pillow is and whether actually you feel supported as you tilt the head back. So nice relief in the lower spine now, and a lovely curve in the thoracic. Working more with our heart center and throat. All of the other poses have very much been around root, sacral and solar plexus. And if we close our eyes and tune into our third eye and crown, it's quite lovely to work on all energy centers. When we're in Shavasana, when we're in neutral pose, it's all chakras. How does your heart energy feel today? Is it bouncy and joyful? Is it downhearted and a little closed? Does it need a big cuddle? Or does it need space to open up and share? And when we share love, it comes through our throat with what we say to people. Lovely connection with heart and throat there. So even in this very restful pose, relax the buttocks, the waist and lower back. And there might be a little bit more that you can relax in the neck and face. Just think of your best friend and just say something in your mind very nice to them. What's the nicest thing you could say to your best friend? Perhaps it's that you cherish them, or you love how they make you laugh, or they're always a support to you. And now just turn that inwardly on yourself. How we cherish yourself. We often make ourselves laugh, and we can support ourselves. When we can say these lovely things to ourselves, our inner world then reflects our outer world. And vice versa, our outer world often reflects our inner world. So let's just take a lovely breath. And lifting up. Nice and slowly, just whip the cushion away. Come straight back down for just a few moments. And then we'll come into relaxation after this. Just observe purely this pose, especially when we compare both of those little back bends, the seal and bench. How different the sensation feels physically and energetically. The lower part of our spine is very linked with how we feel supported in a material world and financial and things like that. And the upper part of our back is very much how we feel supported emotionally. So we can tune into these links sometimes and notice what's going on for us. So hugging in and preparing just to come into relaxation. If you want to stay on the mat, lying down, pull a blanket over, or if you would prefer to come to a sort of seated, more meditative position, you choose. Listen to your body today. So relaxing back, enjoying this rest. Just beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Breathing, allow the breath into the body and just bringing your thoughts and consciousness back. And ever so gently, just drawing these in if you're lying down. If you're already seated, maybe just move gently the shoulders and neck. Enjoy a few breaths. And just slowly in your own time, coming up to seated. Coming back into your day, nice and stretched and rested, peaceful. So just bringing your hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.